Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, welcome to Robert's Sports Show. I'm your host, Robert. Alright, here we are. Father's Day weekend. The NASCAR Cup Series and the NASCAR Xfinity Series are both off. We have the Corn Belt 150 at Knoxville for the Camping World Truck Series. Definitely check that preview out. So in honor of the Cup and Xfinity being off, I decided to work on this NASCAR special schedule, All-Star Race, and TV deal. We all know the TV deals talked about coming up, and more probably changes, definitely more streaming, stuff like that. Took the opportunity to kind of look at the schedule. I know we already have announced on February 19th the 2023 Daytona 500. On November 4th we have the Phoenix Championship weekend concluding, and then we know on February 5th we have the Busch Light Clash at the Coliseum for the second straight year. So I decided to look at the schedule and kind of fantasy book a schedule, how I would do it. You know, if Ben Kennedy, Jim France, and the whole group at NASCAR said, hey, Robert, help us out here, what would you do for a schedule? So I decided to go ahead and do that for the NASCAR Cup Series, Xfinity Series, and Truck Series. So first and foremost, I don't think at this point in time we need two non-points paying races. The Busch Light Clash and then the All-Star Race. I say combine them. The All-Star Clash. The only way that you qualify for the All-Star Clash is the year before. So if we're in 2022 now, so you either had to make the playoffs in 2021, you have to win a race, and either in 2021 or up until the All-Star break, whenever we do. If we do it in the middle of the year, like in my schedule here, I have it in the middle of the year. So you make the playoffs in 2021, you win a race in 2021, you win a pole in 2021. Come to 2022, up until the All-Star race, you win a race or you win a pole. That's it. Then you race for $1 million. I say you put that All-Star Clash at different venues, maybe venues outside of the NASCAR schedule. So maybe at a South Boston, at a Bowman Gray, at a, insert track A, B, C, or whatever. Maybe the track only seats 10, 12,000 people, but then you make a spectacle of it. You make it so unique that more people want to come than can come. So that way, say there's 10,000 tickets available, say it's at Bowman Gray. Well, when that first person doesn't get tickets, go, whoa, next year I got to plan ahead. So I've done all 36 points paying races with an All-Star race, with a couple tweaks to what we do now, things that I would like to see. So first and foremost, we start at Daytona, February 15th, hold on, 14th, February 14th, Wednesday, I think it's the 14th. So anytime I mention dates as I look through the schedule that I have created, the dates are based off of 2023. So right now, 2023, the 15th, of which is a Wednesday, it's the Wednesday before the 19th. The 19th is already set for the 2023 Daytona 500. So on that 15th, just like we do now, we have front row. We have qualifying for the front row. On the 16th, we have the duels. Keeping those, I love those. On the 17th, that night, we do the truck race. We're doing that now, but pretty much the same as we've always done. On Saturday, we have the Xfinity race, we have the ARCA race, and then on Sunday, February 19th, we have the Daytona 500, the Great American Race. That's where my season starts. Now, the next week, the 26th, which is a Sunday, the Cup Series is at Sebring Raceway. Yes, it's a road course. There are multiple road courses on my schedule. I know a lot of people hate them. I like them with this new car. So the Cup Series is at Sebring, a little road course racing there in Florida. We have the Xfinity cars at New Smyrna. Yes, the ARCA cars, the ARCA East race there. I say we throw Xfinity there at New Smyrna. Or we go to Five Flag Speedway with the home of the Snowball Derby. Something like that. Something different, a little bit of a short track for the Xfinity Series. Truck Series is off. The next week, all three series are at Homestead. Friday, Saturday, doubleheader on Saturday. And then we have Truck, Xfinity, and Cup. The following week, the week of the 11th, week of the 12th, we have the Xfinity Series off. We have the Truck Series at Irwindale Speedway out in California. we have the Cup Series at the streets of Long Beach. Yes, we all know there's been so much talk about a street course. Chicago looks like everybody's talked about Chicago, which I don't understand. I'm really confused on this. You hear throughout the NASCAR XM satellite radio channel, Chicago, 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 streets, Chicago. You see it online, all this. Adam Stern talked about it today, I guess. But Pete Pistone, the Morning Drive, lives in Chicago. He's talked to people he knows in Chicago. The people in Chicago are going, we don't know what the hell you're talking about. That's news to us. So I don't know what's going on with that. If it's just hush hush and what's going on, but in my schedule, we're going to Long Beach, streets of Long Beach. IndyCar races there. I think it'll be kind of a cool early in the season. So you got the warmer California temperatures. And we have the Truck Series at Irwindale. The following week, the Xfinity and the Cup go to Auto Club Speedway. We knew what a great race it was this year. I think it will continue this car on that track. And then next up, we have Sonoma. Both of these weeks, the Truck Series is off. So we have the Xfinity and the Cup out at Sonoma on the week of March 26th. The following week, the first week in April, we go to Bristol Dirt. I like Bristol Dirt for the Truck Series and for the Cup Series. During that time, we have the Xfinity Series at the Milwaukee Mile. A little mile track there in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. A really old track on the circuit. I know ARCA goes there currently. It's been on the Xfinity Series before. I say we go back to Milwaukee. Now, the Truck Series races Friday night, the Xfinity on Saturday, Sunday the Cup. So pit crews can go to Milwaukee and pit the cars, so you don't have to have like we did at Portland, where there's kind of no competitive pit stops. And then the following week, all three series, this is the week of April 9th. We have all three series going to COTA again. And then the following week, we have the Truck Series off. We have Cup and Xfinity both at Atlanta Motor Speedway, mid-April. After Atlanta, we have all three series going to Richmond. And then we follow Richmond with all three series going to Michigan, the 2-mile track up there. Then the first week in May, we got all three series going to Nashville. This is the Nashville Super Speedway. That will be important later. Now, here's where the fun begins. There's been a lot of talk about Kyle Larson, Kyle Busch, Kurt Busch, wanting to run Jimmy Johnson, run the Indy 500 and the Coke 600 on Labor Day, or Memorial Day, Memorial Day. It's been done before, but we talk about how busy the NASCAR Cup Series schedule is. We have, if you're new to Indy, you have Indy rookie orientation, practice, qualifying, etc. On May 13th, May 14th, that weekend, typically the Indy cars run the road course at Indy. I got the Truck Series and the Cup Series in Indianapolis at Lucas Oil Raceway, Indianapolis Raceway Park. That's 0.6 of a mile short track that's in Indianapolis. Truck Series and the Cup Series is in Indy that weekend. The following weekend, which is the weekend of the 20th, the week before the Indy 500, typically pole qualifying for the Indy 500. We got on Saturday night, we have the Xfinity Series at Lucas Oil Raceway, the week before Cup and Truck was there. On the 20th, which is 1 week before the Indy 500, we have the NASCAR Cup Series at Indianapolis for the Brickyard 400. So you have Indianapolis pole qualifying that weekend and the Brickyard 400. You've got the Xfinity Series at IRP the night before. So Friday night, Xfinity at IRP. Saturday, the Indy Brickyard 400 for the Cup Series. Doubleheader with pole qualifying for the Indianapolis 500. So if you have Cup guys that want to be in Indy for the qualifying, they're already there. You have the Truck Series off that weekend. And then Labor Day week or Memorial Day weekend, We have all 3 series in Charlotte for the 600. Now, on my schedule, now because we took off the Busch Light Clash, you know TV's going to want more content. We got you more content here. We do the same thing for the Coca-Cola 600 that we did for the Daytona 500. We have front row qualifying on Wednesday night. Where just like at Daytona, you lock in the first and second. Everybody else runs in the duels on Thursday. We're going to do duels at Charlotte Motor Speedway for the 600. And then on Friday night we have the Truck Series. On Saturday, ARCA and Xfinity. And then on Sunday we have the 600. And anybody who wants to run the double. Now, you've got to work with the IndyCar and Roger Penske, with the Indianapolis Motor Speedway Network, with the NBC, whoever the TV channel is for the Cup. You got to work with everybody. You're going to have to move the Indy 500 up an hour, or even move it up a half hour to an hour. Move back the Coke 600 to a half hour. That way, there's enough time from the time the 500 gets over for those drivers to be able to go to Charlotte to run the 600. Now, I think if you're able to get some of the Cup guys into Charlotte, into Indy, maybe 1 or 2 of the Indy guys can qualify for Charlotte, like Trackhouse's, Project 91, things like that. Maybe have some crossover, have a number of drivers doing it. I think sponsors could get behind it. I think teams could get behind it. I think it would be a real fun thing to have drivers running doubles those days. Now, coming out of the 600, Memorial Day weekend, the following weekend we have the All-Star Clash. Now, I made another tweak to the All-Star race. We have a Camping World Truck Series All-Star race. We have an Xfinity Series All-Star race and a Cup Series. 3 All-Star races. You make them the same way. You win a race the year before, you make the playoffs. You win a race this year, or win a pole, and you're in. I think so, such as KBM's truck number 51. You had Martin Truex Jr. win a race in it last year. Kyle Busch, obviously. Corey Himes won a race in it this year. Now, since those drivers are eligible to make the All-Star race, you tell KBM, okay, you got 3 drivers that have won races in this one truck. You give 2 options. 1, pick a driver, put in the 51. Option 2, you run multiple trucks. So if you wanted to run a truck for Kyle and for Corey Heim, fine. Martin Truex Jr., you're eligible. If you find another ride, you can be in it as well. That way, if KBM wanted to go ahead and put 2 trucks out there, Corey Heim in 51 and Kyle Busch in the 47 or whatever, that way, because they're both eligible, you can do it. But the first weekend in June, we have the All-Star race. The second weekend in June, all 3 series goes to Iowa, the 0.8 of a mile track there in Iowa. So you have another short track. So we've added Lucas Oil IRP as a short track. We've added Iowa as a short track. Now, the one thing about Iowa, you could also do, you could add the ARCA series, you could add IndyCar, you could add the Whelen Modified. So lots of things you could do there and make it a mega weekend. And then after we leave Iowa, Xfinity and Cup go to Mid-Ohio. The Truck Series is off. The last weekend in June, we have on Saturday night, we have the Truck Series in Knoxville for the race that's tomorrow night. We have the Xfinity Series, since we have the Cup Series off that weekend, the last week in June. We have the Xfinity Series running the Indianapolis Road Course. So when we went to Indianapolis for the Brickyard, we had the Xfinity Series over at IRP. Now, as a kind of a main event on that weekend, since Cup's off, we had the Xfinity Series running the Indy Road Course. The first week in July, we hit St. Louis for Gateway, all 3 series. Next, we go to Portland for the Xfinity Series and the Cup Series. Mid-July, we hit Chicagoland Speedway. It's back on my circuit for all 3 series. Follow that up with Xfinity and Cup at Kentucky. The last weekend in July, we got all 3 series in Dover, Delaware. Now we have the Truck Series off for the next 3 weeks in August, while Cup and Xfinity go to Watkins Glen, followed by Pocono, followed by Road America. Now we get to the last weekend in August. We have all 3 series at Kansas. This is the cutoff race for the playoffs for the Truck Series and for the Cup Series. Now, I put this race August 27th for the Cup race in Kansas for a reason. We've noticed an attendance issue at Kansas, because here's what happens. I think the place holds 60,000 people. In the spring, 30,000 people say, I can't go to the fall race because of the Chiefs play. I'm going to the spring race. You have another 30,000 people that say, I'm not a football fan. It's going to be hot and later in the year. Kids are in school. I don't have time. I'm not going to be able to. I'm going to go to the spring race. So you have the place half empty on both races. Now, because in September the Chiefs play, I don't care if they're home or not. You have football fans that are going to stay home and watch the game, if not go to Arrowhead. If you make this a cutoff race for the Truck Series and the Cup Series in August, you're not competing with football. This is the only race in Kansas for the year. Most schools either haven't got underway yet or getting ready to get or just barely got underway. You have it on a Sunday afternoon. So it's an important race. The cutoff race, it's not interfering with football. You got all 3 series there. And then we start the Truck Series and the Cup Series playoffs at Darlington. We can make that throwback weekend, or if we don't want to do that, the All-Star race, we can put it at, like I said, a South Boston, insert older track here, North Wilkesboro, somewhere where the Cup Series is not on this current schedule, but can support a Cup Series car. I mean, have throwback at Darlington, I'm fine with that too. All 3 series at Darlington, Labor Day weekend. After Labor Day weekend, we have the first weekend, the second weekend, so Darlington is actually the cutoff race for the Xfinity. The next weekend is off with Xfinity. The Cup goes up to New Hampshire. The Truck Series goes to North Wilkesboro. Middle of September, the second race in the first round of the playoffs at North Wilkesboro for the Truck Series. The following week, we have all 3 series at Bristol. It is a cutoff race for the Truck Series. It is a cutoff race for the Cup Series. It is the start of the playoffs for the Xfinity Series. And then we have an off week for the Truck. Cup and Xfinity go to Texas. That brings us the last of September, the 1st of October. We have all 3 series going to Talladega. The first of the round of 8 for the Truck. The last of the round of 12 for the Xfinity. The second race in the round of 12 for the Cup. The round of 12 ends for the round of 12 ends for the Cup Series at the Roval. The round of 8 begins for the Xfinity Series at the Roval, and then the Truck Series is off. Now, for the Xfinity and Cup Series, middle of October, October 15th, we go to Nashville Fairgrounds at a 0.596 mile short track. Nashville Fairgrounds in the playoffs for both Truck and Cup with the Xfinity off. And then we're in the round of 8 for the Truck Series at Vegas. The middle of the round of 8 for the Xfinity Series at Vegas, and then the middle of round of 8 for the Cup Series at Vegas. So that's the end of the round of 8. Once we leave Vegas, we'll know the final 4 for the Truck Series. Cup and Xfinity both go to Martinsville the last of October. And then everybody ends up in Phoenix for the Final Four first weekend in April. Now, if you noticed, Charlotte and Bristol are the only two tracks that got two races, because Bristol Dirt, Charlotte Roval. We went to other markets we've either not been to in a long time, or Cup Series, first time ever. It's a variety of different tracks. We changed the time of the year on a few of the tracks. Maybe that will help with being too cold. We know we ran into that in 2022 at the short tracks, not being able to have good racing because it was too cold. Now, when it comes to the All-Star races, I think having the Truck Series All-Star race, the Cup, and Xfinity, that's going to give those series a little bit more of, notoriety, I guess you would say. Kind of, they never had All-Star races before. I know Cup Series, $1 million on the line. Obviously, you can't do that for all three series, but I mean, sponsors, whatever you can get TV deal wise. Now, here's where the TV deals comes in. Something that Dave Moody actually said on XM Speedway the other day. Talked about timed races. Now, as a NASCAR fan, I don't get to watch everything live. It's just, life doesn't happen that way. So I record a lot, then I'll go back and watch it, and I'll watch it probably, they might be in the middle of stage one and I start it. That kind of deal. Or sometimes life happens and I watch it when it's over. Here's the problem we have. There's times where, especially if I'm on FS1, I hit play. Hey, if you've turned in to watch the NASCAR race, please switch over to FX2, and then when this rugby game gets over, we'll have it back over here. So I just missed ever how much of the Cup race because it was on FS2. My DVR doesn't know to switch over because it goes based on what it's recording. Or you might have where the race runs long into the next event that that particular channel has, and so it's like green flag, see you later, thanks for coming, out the door to go, so you don't get any interviews. So I came up with a way to work with the TV partners, so whatever show is on before the races, either they have enough room in between or it moves. So we have Cup race. We have a 4-hour window for our Cup race. We have 195 minutes of racing. We have a 15-minute pre-show. Now, the thing is, with the new TV deal, you can work and maybe have Peacock as your streaming partner. Some things do get streamed on Peacock now, like Dale Jr.'s Lost Speedways. He had a special about Chase Elliott, and there's some other things on there about NASCAR content. You have a 30-minute pre-show on Peacock, a 60-minute pre-show on Peacock, whatever the hell you want. You can make it 30, 60, whatever. So when you hit live TV, say FS1 at 2 o'clock, you have a 15-minute, thanks for coming to Martinsville, this is what's going to happen today. 2:15, we have drivers, start your engines. Sing the national anthem, drivers, start your engines. Typically, from the time the national anthem starts until the green flag drops is about 15 minutes. So we have a 15-minute pre-start. At 2:30, we start, green flag drops. We have 55-minute stage one. Then we have our stage break. It's typically from the time we wave the end of stage one till we begin stage two is about 10 minutes. Now this is still your 195 minutes for your race continues. So you have a clock, 195 minutes for race time. It starts at 2:30. And then we have a 55-minute stage two, 10 minutes in between. We have a 65-minute stage three. That gives us our 195-minute races. We have a 15-minute post-race, 6 o'clock, we go off the air. Now, yes, there are races that get red flagged. If it's just a red flag because of a crash, fits in a nice little box, we move on. if it's a rain red flag, so say it's at Daytona. Daytona is one of the races that I have that don't have a time limit. So there's 6 races that we have that don't fit in this little nice little 4-hour box. We have 30 races that we're going to fit in a 4-hour box. 6 races do not. The Daytona 500, the Brickyard 400, the Coca-Cola 600, Southern 500, the Talladega 500, and the Martinsville 400. Those races do not have the nice little pretty box for. The other 30 races do. So, say we're at, thinking of a track that off the top of my head has lights. I can't think of all of them that have lights. Bristol. Bristol's not on my list, so Bristol has lights. So say the Bristol race, dirt race and or the fall race, rains, middle of the race, red flag. Our window is 2 to 6. That's our nice little box. Say it starts raining at 2:05. It stops raining at 5:30. We can drive the track. We got lights. We can go all night. So your TV partner either A, forgets the rest of their content that night and shows the race, or B, the race moves to Peacock. You watch it live on Peacock, and at whatever time Fox FS1 says, hey, we're going to preempt these shows at this time and we will show you the race in its entirety. You can watch it live on Peacock, or you can wait to watch it when we re-show it at this time. Leave it up to the TV partner of what that window is. Utilize streaming for that case, but we still, again, it fits in the nice little box. 4-hour window. Now, I know there are people going, but that takes away my NASCAR race. Technically, it doesn't. Through the races so far in 2022, taking Daytona out of it because Daytona doesn't have the window for me. Martinsville doesn't have a window. Now, the 195 minutes, that's 3 hours and 15 minutes of racing. The Auto Club race, 3 hours and 3 minutes. Phoenix, 3 hours and 6 minutes. Coda, 3 hours and 20 minutes. Richmond, 3 hours and 4 minutes. Bristol Dirt, 3:34, so you're not losing much. Darlington, 3:21. Darlington's one of the ones we're keeping the Southern 500. Kansas, 3:13. So technically, in my schedule, we race 2 more minutes at Kansas, which is another lap or 2. Gateway, 3:07. So we're not losing out. And using my pretty little 4-hour box for Cup Series, of the races so far this year, 2,340 minutes is what we would race. What we've actually raced in that time, 2,391 minutes. So we basically lose 51 minutes of racing in 12 races to fit in a nice little pretty box. Now, with the Xfinity Series the same way. 33 races, we have 3 races that are not timed. 30 races are. Daytona, Charlotte, and Darlington, no time limit. Their time limit I have is 3.5 hours. So 165 minutes of races. So the 3 stages, 45 minutes, 45 minutes, and 55 minutes. Truck Series, we have 3 races not timed. Again, Daytona, Charlotte, and Darlington. Of the 20 timed races, 3 hours, 135 minutes. 35 minutes for the first stage, 35 minutes for the second stage, 45 minutes for the third stage. Fits in a nice little box. Nice little box. That way, when you go to the TV partners, you can say, okay, here's our schedule. We have 30 cup races, 36 cup races. We only want an extended window for 30 of them, or for 6 of them. 30 of them fit from 2 p.m. Central Time to 6 p.m. Central Time. Now, obviously, if there's a red flag because of weather, we need to work with you when we can show that. Otherwise, we're going to go to Peacock. Peacock Live, re-shown on that channel in its entirety later, either that night or whatever. Xfinity Series, 3.5 hour box. Truck Series, 3 hour window. So we're not going to go past this time. We don't need before this time. So when you sell to your commercials, when you sell your commercial spots, you can say, okay, you're going to have NASCAR Cup Series racing from 2 to 6. We can charge X amount of dollars because there's a limited amount of time. So the more that our TV partners can charge for those commercials, the more money they can pay NASCAR for the time slots, for the TV deal. These TV deals are in the billions of dollars. 10 years, like $300 billion. So we utilize streaming. As I would say, Peacock is probably one of the biggest ones, most accessible to people, because there are a lot of TV channel providers such as, like Dish and Direct and all those kind of things, Spectrum, etc. Cable providers that you can get access to Peacock through your cable subscription. Peacock's a good place to put it because a lot of people have it. I know there's a select people that can't, internet doesn't support streaming. So those you able to re-show it on regular TV, regular old, analog TV, so they can watch it. So we've kind of redid the schedule. We don't really go to any tracks twice. We've added some short tracks. Yes, we've added some road courses. We added the street race. We added all-star races in all 3 categories. We worked on a TV deal where we fit everything in a nice, pretty little box, most of the races. But we still have your iconic races: Daytona, Indianapolis, Darlington, Charlotte, Talladega, Martinsville. No time limit. We go out and run them. Will this help the racing? It might. Will a schedule like what I put together here, because it gives people, each race is a destination now. So if you live in the Bristol area, you like to go to Bristol for races, you have 2 options: the concrete race for the playoffs, or the dirt race. If you live in Kansas and you want to go to Kansas Speedway, one option. Either you go or you don't. But this way you have one option. So, hey, yeah, I'll go to the spring race. No, I'll go to the fall race. Nope, I got one option. If I want to see a race at Kansas, I have to go to it. Because that's what makes F1, when they have the races in the United States, because they're a destination. If I want to see F1, I have to go here now. Indianapolis 500, there's only one. Daytona 500, yeah, there's 2 races at Daytona, but there's only one 500. It's a destination. You want to make the races destinations. So people say, hey, if I want to see a race in New Hampshire, I have one option. If I want to see a race at Talladega, I got one option. But so that is my NASCAR special for the bye week. As always, thanks for watching Robert Sports Show. And don't just have a great day, have a spiffy day. Robert Sports Show, your YouTube leader in sports channel content. Now, please comment below. Like it, hate it, want to add something to it, please comment below. I've done multiple videos like this with the scheduling. I never really thought about, I've always kind of wrote it out and kind of done videos about it, but I'm like, it's kind of, nobody does that. I've heard of other people actually fantasy booking NASCAR. I'm like, hey, I'm not alone here. All right, well, thanks for watching, and have yourself a great night.